Welcome to City Smashers, your number one source for Kaiju, Mecha, Tokusatsu, whatever the fuck else.
Yeah. Anything we like at this
that's
point.
That's right. I'm your host, Jerson Ambion, and with me to my left, akin to the hand that I jerk my dick off with.
I thought you were about to say the hand that feeds you. I was like, that's right. I am
a bit of both.
Yeah.
I have my illustrious co-host, Matthew Howell.
Hello.
Matthew, how are you doing?
I am doing all right. I am very glad to be here in my own home.
That's right.
Yeah, I live here. You could, you know.
And we're our first return guest.
Wow.
Yes, big deal.
That's right.
Very big
You might
deal.
recollect those dulcet tones. Our very own, the lovely Chris Rivera.
Yes,
What's up,
I am
Chris?
here. What's good, Jerson? I am returning because I am their one and only
You have returned.
fan.
Yeah. One and only fan.
One only fan. Oh,
conceited much.
returning fan from episode 1, prequel to last episode.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, my dad's been waiting for videos for over a year now. I mean,
Well, 2 years from me, yes.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have to get my dad on a podcast.
We should.
I think that'd be great.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, he's going to use it to make fun of me the whole time.
I-
I know. I can feel it in my bones.
Let me tell you something here. There's nothing I want more than that to happen.
And it'd be recorded. It'll be on the internet.
That's right.
And it's gonna be that situation. It's gonna be like a Goofy movie. My dad becomes like this big star.
Uh-huh,
you
yeah.
know, just- I don't know how I feel about
It's everything I dream and more.
that.
All right. Today we're is there what's is there any like kaiju news or anything?
Kaiju news?
Yeah, I don't nothing really. Been a
No,
little
I mean I
quiet
haven't.
on the
I mean
I know
haven't-
that new Godzilla Netflix show.
I saw
the
the
new movie.
opening for it.
I think it's like the
In the-
third one or whatever
Yeah.
of the animated movies.
I need to sit down and give those a
Same,
proper
yeah.
watch.
I haven't watched
because
any of them.
Bruce
I've
and
seen
I
the first one.
Yeah,
You
Bruce and
have?
I.
How'd
Yeah.
you like it?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into the first one. The second one, it was
Is
a bit,
it? Yeah.
still,
Really?
it was a bit slower than
Because
that
that's
first one.
the thing I feel, because Bruce and I loosely watched the first one, and it's like I was having a hard time getting into it. But I'm
too
also
slow.
I don't enjoy the 3D anime.
3D
Yeah,
animation,
that's
where
the thing.
It's like 3D mixed with 2D. a lot.
Yeah.
I'm
I think,
not
that's
a
a new thing.
fan.
If you
of
look
that.
if you look past that,
Yeah, I'm sure there's something good in there.
There's some good stuff in there.
But
Yeah, maybe watch.
I know Chris hasn't seen Annihilation, but I don't think
No, I
this
have not.
is.
Whoa.
I don't think this is any giveaway. But the opening for the new movie,
Mhm.
it looks like
There's Annihilation 2.
no, it looks like in the opening to the new Godzilla movie.
Oh, okay.
I saw it on Instagram, and it looks like when Natalie Portman is looking inside that thing, and it's just like this
Yep,
wave
yep,
just
Yeah,
pulsing. And
yeah.
when I was watching, I was like, this looks like that part
That
in
part of-
Annihilation.
yeah.
But it was the Godzilla opening.
that's
I was like,
good.
I dig any graphic
Uh-huh.
or stylization like
Like
that.
that. Yeah, dude, that's a crazy movie. That whole movie is like visually like
Mm-hmm.
insane.
Yeah, one of the not many movies make me uncomfortable. That movie
Mhm.
made me a little
Oh,
uncomfortable.
yeah,
there
for sure.
were some parts in it that I was just like, oh, that I don't want to see
Yeah,
that ever
I
again.
have the movie and it's on
You
my
have it?
I have it. It's our digital video
Oh, yeah.
like library.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I just need to catch up on movies. It's been
Right.
Yeah.
it's been a good time.
That one
Good
was one of
while.
my favorites of last year. It was really
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Natalie
Okay.
Portman's fucking awesome in that.
Yeah,
Okay,
stellar
cool.
cast.
Mhm.
I'm glad to see Tessa Thompson in it.
Yeah, she's good.
That was phenomenal.
Oscar Isaac's in
Oscar
it.
Isaac.
Gina Rodriguez. A bunch of people are in it.
Cool.
It's pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's been on my to watch list for some time, but just finding the time to just sit down and just watch movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you miss it out of the theaters, it's just hard to come back
yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
just we watch the movies you missed.
If you don't see it in theaters, you're just gonna be like, oh, 2 years
Yeah.
from now, maybe I'll watch it.
it.
Because like when it comes out, everybody's like talking about it. Like, ah, damn, I missed
Yeah,
it. Like I need
because
to watch it.
I've kind of gotten out of that phase of buying movies regularly, like especially when I was working at the movie theater, like on payday, and I while doing grocery shopping at the Walmart Supercenter. It's like, oh, here's a movie I
that you haven't
Mhm.
want
seen
to
yet.
buy. So I'll buy, one Blu-ray at a time.
I haven't bought a movie in a long time.
Yeah,
too,
but every once in a while now I just do movie hauls where I like buy 6,
Yeah.
7 Blu-rays,
which is insane. That's
Yeah.
that's a
and then I'll text Bruce all the codes to
Oh,
add to
that's
those
right.
videos. Like just 5 pictures, no
Mhm.
context
That's
of
right.
the code.
You know what to do with it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then let me
Throw
return these
money at
Blu-rays
you.
now.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, I wonder if
Uh,
you could do that.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know.
a nod of confirmation from our producer.
I don't know. Oh, but I do have a question for you guys. What is Tonkatsu? Tonkatsu?
Tonkatsu
Tonkatsu.
is pork ramen.
Tonkatsu.
Tonkatsu.
I was like, I know
It's-
Tonkatsu. What's
it's,
this other thing?
It's it's pork. It's
Yeah.
pork. Tonkatsu is pork.
Tonkatsu.
is,
Tonkatsu.
It's like a hammered down, beat down pork that
Pork
you.
chop.
Okay, guys. Okay. I don't need your sass right
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Oh.
Tokusatsu, it's
That's it,
it's
Tokusatsu.
it's kind of like their Japanese like superhero type thing. So like like Power Rangers, Super Sentai,
Mm-hmm.
Kamen Rider, Master Rider,
Okay.
all that shit. Yeah, so it's like like a guy like kind of like will morph into a superhero.
Gotcha.
And
Okay,
oftentimes
okay.
those superheroes in at least Japanese culture like will either be like it's not like capes and stuff like we have over here. It's like I don't know, yeah, like a Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Very martial arts based.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. And then like I think what's it called? Ultraman counts, even
Yeah.
though like in some series
He's technically like an alien. Yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's more like
But
a
is it still
humanoid.
like a humanoid like
As-
growing
yeah,
really big or just
Okay.
morphing into something else?
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never knew there was a term for that.
Right.
So,
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the first
great.
I've heard of it.
It's
That's why Jay's the host.
yeah. Yeah. He's the real
Host
Asian
and
out of the
co-host
Asians.
are
Yeah.
the same exact thing.
Right. Okay.
Jay is the real
I'm
Asian out of
flattered
the
now.
Asians here.
Yeah, it's funny. Fun fact. There's a wide spectrum
of Asians.
of Asian in
That's
this
it.
podcast. You
Run
have
the gamut.
yeah, exactly.
So today we're gonna be talking about Shin Godzilla.
Hmm.
Let's talk about like the first time you guys watched these movies. Like, what was the first time you watched it, Matt?
One of my movie hauls.
Oh, alright.
I think it was the first time it was released on Blu-ray in the States.
Mhm.
So I went and picked it up.
Okay, yeah,
Very great box art.
yeah. The poster is
yeah.
great.
The use of red and black, very
Mhm.
menacing. That it's a black Blu-ray case, so it's
Yeah.
just really cool. It took me a couple watches for it because it was a very different Godzilla movie.
Yeah,
and
Very,
it took me a bit to adjust to
this
the-
new style.
the subtitles because it moves very fast and there's a lot on
Oh,
screen.
It moves
Mhm.
fucking.
Yeah, which I
fast.
enjoy
Uh-huh.
about it. It's funny. It's a movie that moves fast, but it takes them forever to reach the solution.
Yeah.
So that's the best way I can
Uh-huh.
describe it. But after a couple watches and understanding the movie a bit better, it's a great Godzilla movie.
Nice. What about you, Chris? What was the first time you saw this movie?
I think it might have been whenever it showed up in our digital library. Whenever,
Oh, yeah, all right, sweet.
whenever Matt.
You're welcome.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt, for sending us the code.
Yeah.
But the first watch, I did it subtitled, and
Mhm.
it was most subtitled movies. I can not give it my full attention at
Mhm.
first and still know what's
Figure
going
out
on.
what's going on.
This
Yep.
one, I definitely had to give it full attention.
Right.
Yes.
And even then, it was still hard for me to kind of follow along.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So then I had to switch over to the dub version, and it was much easier,
Yeah.
much easier watch that way.
Right, because you could read the rest of the stuff on screen
Yeah.
Right,
and then
yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, but I do want to give it another subtitled watch.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like I need to give it another sub watch. I think that would.
Yeah,
give it.
that's how the only times I've watched it really are
Mhm.
subbed. And the first time I watched it, I was visiting my brother, and it was like when it came out in theaters.
Yep.
And
Oh.
so luckily it was like playing at a theater close to where my brother lived, and we both like Godzilla, so we were like, fuck yeah, we'll watch Shin
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yeah, I would have caught it in theaters
Right,
if I
yeah.
knew it would have been around.
And so yeah, I caught it in theaters, and it was actually like a pretty packed house. Like there were like a bunch of like Godzilla heads, like I guess they came out to come watch it. And yeah, it was really cool. Again, like the subtitles are, it's so much to read because they talk so fast.
Yep.
And it's like truly
and
like
and the majority of this movie is just pretty much
it's
just
all
died.
talking.
Yeah, all dialogue.
It's
all dialogue.
Yeah.
There's a subtitle for each like military unit that's on the screen at the time.
Yeah.
The type of jet that's dropping the bomb.
Yeah, just to
they label the
explain.
movie, and then you also read that. So you have that to read, and then you also have dialogue to read that goes along with that.
There's no time for them to explain what this person's job is or what plane they're using or something.
Yeah.
There's no time for that. They have to like keep like moving the story
Yeah.
forward.
It's like
the way that they
asterisks
do it is just
at the bottom of the book.
it's like footnotes.
But it's in the movie on screen while it's happening.
Right. Yeah. It's really cool. And then so, I mean, I'm used to watching subtitle movies anyway.
Yep.
So it wasn't too much of a hassle for me.
Yeah. I mean, subtitles don't bother me very much. I mean, I watch movies with subtitles on most of the time at home anyway.
Sure. And when I was watching it, this was maybe one of the only times that I had a hard time reading the subtitles. One, because of like what we just said, like there's just so much that they say, plus you're reading the little chirons of whatever the people's names are and stuff. But also, prior to watching the movie, me and my brother got some fucking mango habanero hot wings.
Oh fuck.
Oh man. And so like the entire movie,
yourself.
I truly did. They were fucking delicious.
Oh.
But watching, I just had the bubble guts the whole time.
Oh no.
So like just the having to read the
and
true
half
sense
of your
impending doom from watching a Godzilla movie, and then the impending doom in my butthole. Like, oh boy, what a chaotic situation.
The dread. Like you couldn't focus on reading because you had to focus on the feelings in your ass.
Exactly, yeah.
And in your stomach.
But I made it through, guys.
You got to finish. I lived to tell the tale. You got to finish the whole movie. And still, it sounds like you have a little bit of PTSD from that.
Which honestly, like, makes watching it again better.
Yeah,
like I'm just like, I go back to where I was at that one point.
I didn't even realize it got a US release. In the theater,
super limited. It was like maybe like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. It was for a very short window,
which is also
and it wasn't anywhere near us at the time. I'm sure you would have had a better chance of seeing it.
Which because I guess I lived in LA at this time, but I didn't see any like advertisement or anything for it. I guess it's one of those special things that you just have to follow. And
happen to see it on on social media,
which is also because when it was called Shin Godzilla in Japan.
Yeah,
and then when they said they were going to release it in the US, they retitled it Godzilla Resurgence.
Yes, they did.
That in all the promo material,
it was Godzilla
Resurgence. But then when they released it in theaters,
it was still just
Shin Godzilla. Like when they promoted like posters and stuff for the theaters, still called. So I don't know.
I wonder if it was maybe just some miscommunication with like.
Or maybe they were just like,
America.
Godzilla Resurgence fucking sucks.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you know what? There was that Independence Day Resurgence that
came
out.
Okay.
So maybe they didn't want it to be like.
Was that 2016 as well?
It might have been.
Yeah.
20. Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Because I remember I watched Independence Day, Star Trek 3, and The Shallow with Shallows with Blake Lively.
Is that shark movie where she's like stuck on a rock?
The same fucking day,
really,
like, at the theater, as like a triple feature, which was insane. My ass was so numb, but that's like one of my favorite fucking. Just watching those 3 movies. Wow, all 3.
I haven't braved a double feature at a movie theater.
Oh really?
It's like
double features aren't bad.
One movie for me is like. That's good enough.
What you do?
I want to go do something else afterwards.
You gotta like after that first movie, you do feel a little tired. You stretch your legs out, take a good piss, and then like once you start watching that second movie, usually your brain like switches off the tired, and you're just like, oh, I'm watching a new movie now. As long as it's a new movie that you've never seen before, it'll be all right.
You don't get
but
that,
if you're
that
like rewatching
exhaustion.
Yeah, like when I did that the first triple feature I did was the Batman one when TDKR came out.
Yeah.
So they had Batman Begins, TDK, and then TDKR, which are all 3 fucking long movies. That still might be the longest
honestly.
one I ever watched.
Because the one that came to mind that when I was working at the movie theater that night, they did a like Hobbit trilogy.
Oh shit, that's fucking
right.
long.
Because I felt like they also did like Lord of the Rings trilogy up to the Hobbit trilogy as well.
Oh god, no thanks.
That's
too fucking long.
That's too much.
Extended
because I think it was like a 2-day event. Like they did like Lord of the Rings
really?
trilogy the first day.
That would be one where I'd
Hobbit
be like,
day.
all right, I'm gonna watch the movies that I
or
like,
maybe
the scenes that I
maybe
like.
it was just for the first
eat.
Hobbit. They did Lord of the Rings trilogy before the first Hobbit came out.
I like that first Hobbit.
I like
the first.
The first Hobbit's great.
I like the Hobbit movies.
And the second one's really good. I don't talk about the third one.
The
third one's off.
The third one truly feels like just a last act of a movie.
It feels like they just threw something together.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like I was like, this movie can be omitted.
Those 3 movies do feel like just 2 movies, or it should be 2 movies, which originally was the plan.
Yeah.
But then they added more and reshot more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I like the most out of that whole entire trilogy is the Evangeline Lilly scenes with that brand new character.
Yeah.
And apparently that was the stuff that they added later. They shot the 2 movies and then they added her character as more things to stuff it to 3.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's the part that I actually like the most out of like everything.
From what I remember, Evangeline Lilly, like she was good with being signed on to the Hobbit, but she said she didn't want any like love triangle stuff in it, and then that's exactly what happens in the movie, which is amazing. She's like, I will be in the movie as long as there's no love triangle, because she was in Lost.
Yeah, she was in Lost back in the day.
I've never seen.
You've
Lost.
never seen that, dude? That is my favorite show of all time.
Really,
dude?
That's a big claim coming from you.
I truly like that movie. Truly, like, made me okay with dying. Like that's how like grand that movie fucking goes. Like, or that show goes.
Yeah.
Because it like that's like truly like what it's all about is like being alive in death and like being like not okay with death, but like the ramifications of death. And, like, that's where I was like okay, like death is all right. I'm not like afraid of death, which is an insane thing to say. I know that what I'm saying is fucking insane, but like that show like it'll like change your like the chemistry in your brain.
JJ Abrams, right?
Yeah, he did the pilot and then he like exec produced, but it's a Damon Lindelof, Carlton Cuse, like they wrote the whole show. They're like the showrunners.
So, speaking of JJ Abrams, earlier this week, and will definitely be another podcast subject. I threw Cloverfield on in the background.
Oh,
did not realize TJ Miller was in it.
Yeah, I mean that's where he's from.
The first time I watched it was before I knew who TJ Miller was.
Right. Yeah,
so now that I watched it and I knew who TJ Miller was,
that's his like first like that's what like got him onto the scene.
Which is funny because he was like he played some like a stupid guy.
That's what his character is.
The stupid best friend. I was like, oh, maybe it kind of fits. And we'll talk about that definitely another podcast because I just threw it on in the background and I was like, oh, this is I do need to get
there's a lot of like a lot of people that came out of that movie are like pretty the biggest star that was previous to like the only person who was like famous from that movie before being in it was Lizzie Kaplan. She was like the only like successfully working actor, and then everyone else that's in the movie like has gone on to like some good like TV stuff.
Yeah, because I besides TJ Miller, I don't think I really recognized anyone else in it.
A lot of those guys, they went to TV, but I mean they're on a ton of TV shows.
Yeah,
now. That's a good movie. And then the guy that directed that is the Planet of the Apes guy now.
Yeah, I recognize the name, but I can't tell you who it is.
Matt Reeves. Reeves. He did the last 2 Planet of the Apes movies. And then he's directing the new Batman.
I haven't seen the last Apes.
You haven't seen
War,
and I have
War.
I have
War,
I have
War
it
of the Planet of the
on
Apes.
Blu-ray.
That's a good one.
That was like a Christmas gift 2 years ago. And
War of the Planet of the Apes is like a really good like sleeper prison break movie.
Yeah,
it's very insane that
because I enjoyed
it, and then he gets captured, and I was like, oh, this is what the movie is. This is the genre that it is. It's
gotcha.
Going to be a prison break movie right now. And
so a bunch of them going in to try to like save him, like that kind of.
I don't want to tell you anything.
Yeah. Spoilers.
It's basically if Moses was in a prison break before he
wow.
Before he parted the Red Sea.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, so it's the whole like Passover story is what is what the Apes movie is. It's him trying to free the Jews from Egypt. And because who's is that the Woody Harrelson's the big bad?
Yes.
Because Gary Oldman's the big bad in the second
2,
one,
yeah.
and the other ape, the bad ape.
Koba, yeah.
Toby
Kebbell.
Who's Kong?
Yeah, he's from like a little bit of Kong.
Yeah.
Kong is like I think like an amalgamate of like 3 different performances, but Toby Kebbell is like apparently like the fucking G of being an ape just from his work in Apes.
Yeah,
like I remember hearing a story in when they were shooting Kong. What's his face? What's that kid's name? The guy that played Eazy-E in Jason.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Jason Mitchell. Yeah, who's fucking a great actor. He's a huge Kong head, like a Planet of the Apes head. And so when they were shooting that movie, he had a couple scenes with Toby Kebbell, and he was like, hey, like you played Koba, right?
Yeah.
And Toby Kebbell was like, yeah, like let me show you some moves. And he like on a fucking dime went to his fucking knuckles.
Whoa.
And like it was like a helicopter scene, and he fucking jumped from the ground to the landing on the helicopter, like where you stand on it.
Yeah.
From the ground up all the way up there. That's like fucking like 3-4 feet clean. And like everyone was like, holy shit, like that dude's a fucking ape right now. Like
he practiced that.
I mean, I guess that's I mean, just from shooting like 2, 3, I think just 2. I don't think he played Koba in the first Apes movie. But yeah, shooting those 2 movies, like having that like muscle memory of like just being able to like turn into an ape like, immediately.
Because I mean, Kong stands upright throughout the whole Kong movie, so that's interesting. Yeah, that, he's on knees and knuckles, and then the ape that is Kong is very humanoid.
Yeah, I forget. I think they got like maybe Terry Notary, who played Rocket in the Apes movies. He's another like ape performer to do like a bit of Kong as well. There's a bunch of like guys that like get no love. The guys that actually like, perform like the animal moves. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, because Andy Serkis is like the biggest like
he's the like most famous one
mocap performer. But like even Benedict Cumberbatch does a lot of his own characters, which is really cool. I mean, he did all of Smog stuff besides the voice. Like he was in.
Yeah. I wonder what you'd have to do. You just do the face for Smog, because he's not really
like facial expressions.
Yeah, because I mean he had the whole camera in front of his face, but I mean he was in like a green suit doing like a bunch of movements and stuff. I guess just to try to get some mimics of it.
Yeah, that whole technology is fucking insane. It's really cool. I'm a fan of
it. We need to save up for mocap next.
Yeah,
that's the next. That's the next move.
We'll put a bunch of little balls on each other and
take a couple miming classes so that we can figure out how to move like apes.
Yeah, that. Let's find it in the
apes money.
Let's find it in the L'Oreal budget to get mocap and take some classes, take some improv classes.
Let's just go visit the zoo.
Yeah, right.
Just go to the zoo.
We'll go do some field studies.
That's right.
I love the zoo, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah,
let's go right now.
Field trip.
Oh wait, we got a podcast.
Exclusive. We're going to the zoo and we're gonna do a podcast there, baby.
Oh yeah, and then, just in the middle.
As long as they don't fucking kick us out.
Yeah, we'll let them know. We'll let somebody that works at the zoo be our guest.
That's right. The guy that cleans up the penguin shit.
That would be that would be really cool if like City Smashers reached that point where we could get like a real like animal behavior. Or like a real and like
analyze the movements of whatever.
Like you get somebody like, hey, like in Rampage, is that how a real gorilla
in War of the Gargantuars.
Yeah. Harryhausen.
All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break, and then after that we'll get started.
Papa Matt? Oh, Papa. Oh, hey there, Jay. What's wrong?
I want to watch something on the TV, and I can't figure out what to watch.
You want to watch the TV? Jay, we have internet though.
What? Internet, Papa?
Internet.
We have internet? I can get on internet with parental supervision?
Yeah, you don't even need parental supervision, Jay. You can just go in and watch whatever you want.
Ooh.
Actually, go on the internet right now and go watch some Blurreel.
Blurreel? What's that?
Blurreel. It's the #1 source of online entertainment.
Ooh, I like entertainment.
Oh yeah, they've got all those shorts and gaming videos and podcasts.
Podcasts? What kind of podcasts?
I don't know. There's a little something on there called City Smashers.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's real good, Jay. After you watch that, you'll be a grown man.
Ooh,
why don't you go over there and watch it right now?
I will. But first, can you change my diaper?
You bring that little bum over here.
Japan is plunged into chaos upon the appearance of a giant monster. Directed by Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi. 2017's 2016's Shin Godzilla.
Ooh. Wow. 3 years ago now.
Yeah, huh? Yeah.
That's amazing. 3 years in between the last Godzilla movie to the one coming out this year.
Yeah,
that's really good though.
A while.
Good on Toho.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, I didn't realize how big Toho was. Like as a it's like everybody in Japan knows who Toho is.
Yeah, it's like their fucking like Marvel or their Disney.
Honestly, it really is. I mean, I feel like I see even on just regular animes, I'll see Toho's
sure, yeah,
thrown up there.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Big fan.
Big fan. Like
Big
this
fan.
one up here.
Yeah. The one that's going on in this house.
Right.
I thought you were a person.
So let's talk about Shin Godzilla. Like, where do you guys want to start? Just from the top? I mean, I really like how it opens.
Yeah.
I do like how it opens with like
it's a movie that
found footage.
it really does.
Which is
honestly
watching that the first time like in theaters, I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? I thought this was a Godzilla movie, and I was like, oh shit, are they going like the Cloverfield route? What is this?
It starts very horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then later devolves. I feel like it's more action. It's more of what a Godzilla movie is by the end. But
they hook you with a little horror. I mean, there is kind of like a lot of like surreal horror throughout though.
Because the surreal horror that sticks out to me is all the blood, especially the blood that falls from the tunnel.
Right.
That is very jarring.
When you were thinking that was blood, I was just thinking that was just like a
mud or something.
Yeah, really? Byproduct of That's
what I thought it was at first because it's like in a tunnel. And like, I was like, oh,
it's like just dirty water that's falling through.
I think they do say later on, they're like, oh yeah, it's like blood.
I didn't even realize that.
When we finally see Godzilla and he makes it on land and he's moving through, you see blood just dropping from his gills.
Yeah.
So that's why I was pulling.
Yeah, the opening is really cool, and it's one of the things that I like that happens throughout the movie, which is the shaky cam. Like it's like it's almost like you're watching, especially like when the people start getting evacuated, and they have to go into like the tunnels and stuff, and it's from their phone. So like they're doing like little Snapchat stories of like them like sliding down the slides to get to safety and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is really cool to have this like ground level and then have that shaky cam, and then which completely juxtaposes with the style that's in the rest of the movie, which is super sterile, lockdown tripods, and it's just in boarded rooms where everyone's just sitting down, no one's really moving. And so like just to have that back and forth, I was like, holy shit, this is already really artistic. When I rewatched it, I was like, oh shit, this is cool.
Yeah, when I was doing a rewatch, and like halfway through the movie, I was like, man, there are so many different like camera styles, like the way they shot it.
Yeah.
In this movie, it's like, how can we shoot this scene? Let's do something different next scene.
Right. Yeah.
No, this scene, let's do something different again. And like, so
they do change it up all the time. Yeah. It's really cool.
One that gets me, it's one of the shaky cams when in the street. like the actual like POV of it is actually someone falling in the street and like getting trampled while like watching people. I was like, so are you telling me a cameraman was like holding a camera and then actually fell down and like getting trampled while filming people running away from the fake imaginary
R.I.P.
monster?
that guy.
Yeah,
honestly, get the shot.
Died. Yeah. That's the shot that won the movie all the awards it got.
Yeah. Yeah, like it truly like starts you off really viscerally. Like what is the opening scene? It's like
opening scenes. Coast Guard trying to find the boat. They found that boat and they're investigating
and they don't know what it's an empty vessel, and they don't know what it is.
Yeah, they just find a couple things on it,
slippers,
some documents.
Yeah. Is it? I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but is it the scientist's boat?
It's the scientist.
Yeah, it was the scientist's boat. Yeah, that's the one that they found.
Yeah.
And then, it starts off there, and then there was like a big water eruption.
Right.
Boat shook, and then that's when we get the scenes from the tunnel, and then
yeah. Which is, I mean, it starts off almost like
any other typical Godzilla movie. From the point of view,
the POV of like almost like a natural disaster, which is, and so like that's something that we've all like seen shit, or just like even like oil spills, shit like that, where it's like something's exploding and you're just getting the news of like, hey, no one's saying, oh, it's Godzilla. Everyone's saying like, oh, it's
trying
like
to figure out what it is, and then the people in the immediate vicinity reacting to it.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then it's giving the higher ups, time to sit and think about what it is,
which is also that because I think I watched the trailer maybe once before actually watching the movie, and the trailer just shows the Godzilla stuff. It doesn't really show like the human stuff really,
which is the majority of this movie.
So when it goes to like the main characters, like all the bureaucrats and stuff, it truly turns into like basically like a disaster movie, like Contagion or like like Apollo 13, stuff like that, where it's like boardrooms and it's just people talking, and like you don't get introduced to these people at all. You're just thrown into it. You get their name tag, and you're like, all right, that's their name, that's their job.
Which I'll preface for myself. I don't remember any of these characters' names.
I think we all agree.
Yeah.
Guilty.
I remember the main guy's name is Yaguchi. And then that's about
that's it.
And the missing scientist was Maki, because that's probably the easiest name to remember.
I do not know any character's name. I know their job.
Yep.
And that's it. But yeah, like that's so yeah. When I was watching it, I was like, oh, like this is like how they did in Apollo 13, where it's like, okay, that's the prime minister and that's his name, that's who he is, and I was like, oh, that's like when you have to show like who the captain of the fucking ship is, like when they're in Houston. Have you seen Apollo 13?
I haven't.
What the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll watch.
We'll save that one for another podcast.
I'll watch
the true beast, outer space.
Yeah, I'll watch it in First Man. Back to
oh,
back.
dude, that's a smart move.
Yeah,
that is a smart move.
I'll watch both those movies back to back.
I was just to get off topic, but I remember I've seen Apollo 13 like a bunch of times, but I was like washing the dishes and I had like I was like flipping through channels just to have something on, and it was like the last 20 minutes of Apollo 13, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever, I'll just wash the dishes. Swear to God, by the end of those 20, like when I finally put that last dish, I fucking was bawling. Like that's how
really?
good, like the end of that movie.
Oh no, I'm gonna cry.
Crying,
oh man.
But yeah, I really like Shin Godzilla. It feels truly like I don't know if you guys see.
And I'm going to try not to do this as much and compare it to other Godzilla movies.
Well, you were comparing the other one to this one, so you got this.
Right.
I feel like, why not?
Like 2014 Godzilla. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I was invested in all the Godzilla parts. This movie, I was like, oh, the bureaucrat stuff was really interesting.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
It really made you think.
Yeah, that's right.
Really, but it's just like it was such a real response to a Godzilla like, just popping up in the water. I mean,
I don't know if
especially like all the prime minister stuff. Like I could
you
only
really see
it was very real.
Everyone dragging their heels and like not really
like
see like the faults of bureaucracy.
Yeah, and like they even like characters in there, like the hallway scenes of just like characters you're not even introduced. They're quickly walking, and they even mentioned them themselves, like, oh man, so much like bureaucracy going on. Like, oh, we have to have another conference meeting for this,
right?
Like
exactly.
That's a like watching this. I don't know if you guys have seen The West Wing, the Aaron Sorkin, like it's about the presidential. It's about like the president in like
but
the West
like,
Wing.
In the West Wing,
in the West Wing, yeah.
But a lot of that show, there's so much talking in it. So what they do is it's famous for being called walk and talks, which is they'll just get a whole scene done and it's just them walking throughout hallways, and that's what it is. Because there's nothing like you can't really like just sit these people down and be like, okay, shoot this, shoot that, and then that gets really boring. But just having them walk, you feel like the propulsion of like the scene. It keeps the energy, and that's what this movie has like in fucking spades. Like the way that the fucking rapid fire talking, and then just all these.
Yeah, because it hits all the points of again a government reacting to a natural disaster,
like an unknown.
It has all the walk and talks, the conference rooms, the prime minister addressing the public, them at the sites of the natural disaster, you know, assessing the damage. And then all the different like bureaucrat members talking one-on-one with other
and you can
members.
sort of like see like the power plays between the different departments being like, oh, our department is more they're more important than this one, but these guys really know what they're talking about.
And then there was like one part where the one guy is like, well, we don't even know what jurisdiction this, like what branch like does this fall into, like who's actually responsible for this, because like, it's a lot of branches.
There's no precedent because there's never been a fucking Godzilla before,
and then like at that point, like no one really wants to take responsibility because no one doesn't know what to do, and no one wants, like if something fails, no one wants to take it.
Them. You really see a lot of the interplay.
What's good about this movie is a modern day of like of the first time Godzilla appears, where I feel like a lot of previous Toho Godzilla movies were just them reacting to more and more
another Godzilla. They like you sort of have like the history of Godzilla beforehand, and they're like, okay, Godzilla's gonna come back at some point. Now we have spaceship and shit. But in this one, it's completely rebooted. It's a brand new Godzilla. No one knows about him. Which is
and
really
and they took that in the modern day setting to how a modern day government would react to it. And it was really good. And the main character was someone to root for, which I always like. I like having a character I want to root for,
see them succeed,
and like no real bad guy. Like I just don't like this guy.
Like no one's
it's like I was rooting for everybody to get out of this situation.
The only bad guy is Godzilla.
And it's like, oh, but
he's not morally bad. He's just a giant
he
fucking
literally was taking he was taking a stroll through Japan.
Which like they talk to, they're like, oh, he's just walking, but even his walking is causing so much damage.
Like there's the part where when it's sort of like the teenager version of Godzilla or whatever, where he's like still on his stomach, the tadpole version, where it's like it's the scene right when it's about to start standing upright, and he climbs on a building that he tips over from his weight. But right before they show him climb on that building, they show a family that's inside of it, and it's like a mom, her older son, and her baby. It's them packing up, and then it shows Godzilla climbing and just knocking over it. And I was like, they fucking killed like a true like 6-month-old right in there. It fucked me up.
And I remember like watching the scene, and I was like, man, this really showed you like how like a government response to this. It's like it's gonna be super slow, and then it just shows you the problems with waiting
so long to make a decision. But I mean, the part of it too, government trying to do what's best for the people. I mean, because
there's so many factors to consider.
Millions of people that before you could take action, you have to do what's in their best interest. Either evacuating them or whatever, which plays a big part in a scene soon after that. I feel where Godzilla finally stands up. And the prime minister's like, all right, we need to mobilize for war. We need to start it. And this was when Godzilla was at its most vulnerable. Like they could have killed it then and there.
Yeah, but before that, it was just like the prime minister, and like he was like talking to all the scientists, and he was like, the first one it can't be a creature. Like don't bring that absurdity into this meeting. And then all of a sudden, boom, the tail shows up.
Everyone's denying that it's a creature, and then they turn on the TV and it's a fucking creature.
And that happens a couple times. That main character is like, oh, it's going to do this. They don't believe, and then it does.
And then the girl scientist, still don't remember names, but she was just like,
she's my favorite character.
Exactly. And she was like, oh, there's a possibility it can come on land, and then like, oh, our other scientists like says it's not possible for it to come on land, and then all of a sudden it's on land.
Because that's one of my favorite parts is one of the main bureaucrats, like the main character's like mentor throughout the whole movie. He tells the prime minister like, only stick to the facts, don't tell him him anything that might be not true. And he when he addresses the public, he's like, we're for sure it can't come on land. And then he immediately turns to him, he's like, what, it did? I love that scene because it's like, oh, I'm sure he was thinking in people's best interest, trying not to scare anyone.
Because they were going on, it was like, oh, like we should make these decisions, and like they were voting on whether they should kill it or like push it away or live capture or something. And then someone else chimes in, well, we need to think about the environmentalists, we need to think about like people, like what their opinions are on this. I'm like, man.
And I really like how it shows, like throughout the whole movie, it shows like kind of how the older guard are wrong, and it's the new kids that are coming up that
the younger
are anticipating and making the right calls.
The new
generation. And I mean, they show it pretty early on where like the prime minister calls in the like 3 head experts, and he's like, hey, like. He's asking each of them individually, like, hey, what do you think this is? Or like, what do you think we should do? And each of them give like an answer like, that
very
has no answer.
Half-assed answer. That one of them was purely, I can't say anything or I'll hurt my reputation.
Right, and that's how all of them are thinking, which is they're just thinking about their own ass. Like they don't care about, they just want to stay where they're at. And then they're obviously wrong. Like they show, and then that goes throughout, like, you see like all these senior officials getting shown that they're wrong, and that the younger guys know. I mean, they don't know what to do, but they're swifter in their decisions.
And then I know the older generation were a bit more what's the word I'm looking for? They were very hesitant on giving out information. Whereas like the younger ones were like, let's just share all of this information, get more minds involved.
Because speaking of the female scientist, he goes in trying to find somebody from the like environment department to help come in and like figure out what it is. And she's like, the guy that he was talking to said something along the lines that, oh, she's new or whatever, or she's
not very high rank or something.
She's not very high rank, but he's like, get her anyway. And she's the one that can accurately, for the most part, accurately said what exactly it is.
Right. That was the thing. I like when the main character starts building his like lone wolf team. Where it's just a group of guys. They're all, and he says in that scene, like, drop your ranks, drop whatever like authority you have. We're all on the same level.
Right.
Share your information. And that's kind of like what the theme of the movie is. Like they show the foil of that, where all the bureaucratic guys are like keeping the information to themselves, and like how it's not helping at all.
More boardroom meetings trying to discuss with foreign countries, who are want in on it now. How foreign policies and international policies affect this situation, which is amazing because it's Japan's problem, but they still have to consider
help from others,
or
just aid relief,
like NATO policies. It's
you truly see how like globalized the whole world is. It's real interesting.
But going back to when we see Godzilla first stand up, and they had the chance to kill it, and then they had an old man and like carrying like his grandkid on his back, walking across the train tracks,
and they had
so
to
he
stop.
has. And then Godzilla books it to the water. I was like, so they had their opportunity, but they took they're taking every life into consideration.
Which is like when you're in that position, if a story comes out where they accidentally killed a dude and his daughter because they were trying to
destroy a sub,
so that story's gonna leak, and then all the repercussions coming from that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very it puts a lot of things in perspective as somebody with authority. The difficulties of making a decision like that.
Exactly. But I know like because from that scene like that took a while to even give the order for evacuation. Like it was hours.
They had to go
after it made landfall for them to give the order to like
you really see how many channels it has to go through. Like or it's like this guy's saying, all right, let's order an evacuation, and then this guy's tell this guy, and then this guy has to tell that guy.
Yeah, and then the probability of like safely evacuating 3 million.
Right. People. Yeah. I mean, all those cars on the road, fucking forget about it. I mean, I know we all like lived through hurricane evacuations,
right?
And like,
and we know how hard it is on,
that shit
on the
gets
interstate.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the actual look of Godzilla, because that's for sure something that's very unique about this movie is that
when the Godzilla the trailers came out, like I remember watching it with my dad, and him being an old Godzilla head, he's like, oh, he looks like he's like melting, like he's having a nuclear meltdown, which I know is like a synopsis for older Godzilla movies, like Godzilla, you know, pretty much being a radioactive beast,
and then like take that in consideration.
Yeah, it's like he looks like he's melting.
Yeah, like all the different versions of Godzilla look fucking like weird. Like just that the way it starts off.
Okay,
with
the very
tadpole.
first form, it's goofy, and it's funny the first time you see it.
When I watched it, I was like, oh, is that a different monster?
Yeah,
like, is Godzilla coming later? I didn't know what the fuck that was.
Right, because I mean, this is the first like evolution.
Yeah, because you can already tell like it's very amphibious too.
Yep.
Like it literally starts off like kind of as a tadpole, and then it just
because
the
it's
just sliding on its belly and everything.
The adaptability we learn later in the movie.
It's sort of like
a very big driving point.
Right. Yeah.
A big plot point of the movie.
Like you can see how its like skin is almost soft, like it has it doesn't have that hard scaliness that Godzilla has at first, and the way that he just like crawls through the fucking city is so disturbing.
And that when we're talking about him bleeding from the gills earlier, like he's bleeding because he can't breathe.
Yeah,
he's just trying to make his way. And trying to figure out what to do, but I mean, he's just this big, goofy, and yet very pathetic looking creature.
That's fucking shit up.
That's fucking shit up. But even like the first time you get a good look at him, like the sounds that's playing in the background, it's very slow and dopey. It's like, oh, this is Godzilla. I don't remember this thing from the trailer. It only has 2 legs.
Yeah,
it's just making his way, making his way downtown.
That's right. Yeah, and then the second evolution, which isn't even its like final form, when he stands upright,
and we only get like that form just for like a minute or two too.
When he stands up. But I guess we need to talk about his very first form, which is his tail sticking out of the water at the very beginning,
a little like Nessie,
and because that is his actual first form. It's like it's just his
tail.
It's just his tail and whatever is attached to it underwater.
Right.
And even the tail was like very sentient, like in the movements it was making.
Right. Which is something that stays like almost throughout.
Yeah, like his tail is very mobile in this.
I mean, he's like a second head.
His tail is huge. I mean, I'm sure for the puppeteering and the CGI for it.
That was one of the things I wanted to bring up, was that they made a real puppet for it. The whole entire movie is CGI. There's no that like
it wasn't used.
None of it was used. They used it as lighting reference and movement reference.
That's interesting.
And then the entire movie, even the stuff that like they basically made the CGI look like it was a puppet.
Oh wow!
So that they could get like a lot of the shots like where it's like from underneath, because you can't really get that shot like where you're there's like a shot where it's on a tram and you're watching,
trying to figure out that perspective.
You can't really get that shot.
It's hard.
So they created a CG model of it and then just gave it the physics of a puppet, and like the way that the tail moves is almost like it's on a string.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone else's puppet.
Hideki Anno, the director, he did the live action Attack on Titan.
I think it's the other guy. Hideki Anno is the Evangelion guy.
That's right. The name's familiar. Right, I was like, I know I've heard that name before.
Which is where a lot of
but the guy who made Shin Godzilla also did
Attack on Titan.
The Attack on Titan movies. Because the very similar, the Colossal Titan and Attack on Titan was a puppet.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, in the live action?
For the live action.
Okay,
and I think they did similar stuff like
Higuchi
that.
Higuchi is that director's name.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then also some of the Titans were actually just people behind in front of a green screen.
Right. That's cool. I wanted really to watch that.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
We'll do that one. That'll be good. It's a bunch of bad things happening to people.
Right.
So,
and to a city. A city gets smashed.
If a building falls, it's City Smashers material. If there's a monster and a building falls, we'll talk about it.
I like that second, or I don't know, the third form, whatever the when it starts to become bipedal, because it goes through that like sort of like cocoon stasis phase, where he like turns completely like gray for a second, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or is that
last time I was watching?
He just goes into like a hibernation.
When he started standing up, They put this really cool like metamorphosis like CGI
on
like over
skin.
him, like his skin is like rippling as he's standing up. So I was like, oh, that's really cool, because that's what I imagine, like, of metamorphosis,
right?
Like, just all these ripples as the cells in its body
are changing,
and it the grossest thing is actually you see his arms like detach from his body.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's
right.
great, because his arms are gross in that. Yeah, it's like these just limbs just holding straight up the whole.
And this
movie.
is the form that is that they show in all the promotional material stuff, like it's like the
big eyes,
the very beady eye,
no
very
eyelids.
Very round head.
Yeah.
The one that your dad was saying looked like a nuclear fallout.
Right. It just looks like Godzilla's melting.
Right. Like what a truly disgusting like
yeah.
image. Like you can really tell that this is like the skeleton, or like it's still growing.
Yeah.
It's not yet a full body,
because it's the biggest Godzilla.
Yeah, that's right.
I think like 118 meters, like
kilometers,
something
that's
like
insane.
that.
Or I don't know if that's probably meters.
Kilometers.
Kilometers.
And
that's the space.
And the U.S. standard measurements are different. The metric system.
Listen here. Fuck the metric system. I'm talking about variations of 12.
Yeah, exactly.
US system, baby.
Yards. So biggest Godzilla. I mean, some of those scenes where he's just destroying stuff, like his legs are huge.
Yeah.
He has a very pear shape, small head, very small arms that are just in this
like it truly does not look of this earth. No. Which makes you so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, any close up on his eyes and face were just gross.
Yeah, just that. I remember when that first promo shot of that version of Godzilla came out, and that's the only image we ever had. I mean, I hate fanboys. Like, the fanboys fucking teared it to shreds. They're like, that's not Godzilla.
Right.
Why does he have a ping pong ball in his eye? I was like, wait till the fucking movie comes out, shithead. Like.
Yeah, I mean, my argument to all people like that is like, oh, you're just sitting at home. Like, you've never made a movie. Shut up. You've never made anything. Who do you think you are?
Just seeing that already, like with the eyes and shit, like that's already an iconic silhouette. Like, if you fucking made that silhouette and asked like someone what that was, you'd be like, oh, that's that fucking weirdo Shin Godzilla shit. Like,
right.
Luckily for me, I did not see any promo stuff before watching it. I
had no idea.
I have no idea. I came in blind for this one.
That's truly like what I wish my
because
that's not was.
That's how I feel now about like Godzilla too, because like I've had some like such like strong emotional reactions to those trailers. It's like, man, I would have literally cried if I watched if I watched when I watched Godzilla 2 and I had never seen any trailer for it. I'm gonna start bawling as soon as I see Mothra. And especially if they keep like Claire de Lune as soon as Mothra comes out, I was like.
Yeah, I really like the designs, especially of the final, or not even the final, but like the main design of Godzilla.
Yeah,
where it's like it kind of looks like the Godzilla that we know, but it kind of looks like he's like made out of lava too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he looks like he's he has all these ridges on him. He's like burns.
Right. Yeah, it's like pretty much like dried lava. Pretty much what it is.
That's exactly
the
what
cracks,
it looks like.
And you can see the nuclear fission going on behind
flesh.
it.
Yeah. Great design choice, and especially because we hadn't seen anything like that previously.
Right.
From like early Godzilla, because I feel like the first like real big change in Godzilla's design was like Godzilla 2000.
That was
he became very almost slender. He became very menacing.
Well, I mean, if we're not counting Godzilla 98.
Oh, I wasn't. Sorry,
where he's a raptor. I like that.
Exactly. Well,
in Final Wars, that's Zilla.
Yeah, which is now which is a funny scene. But yeah, like Godzilla throughout, he's basically looked the same. Like some of like the first one, he looks like the Godzilla that we know, and then like later on, he gets kind of rounder when he becomes a hero, and then he has like a son and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's that dad bod. And then
midlife crisis Godzilla.
Then when they started making the Godzilla movies scary again, like he has the white eyes again.
Oh man, and seeing the Godzilla 2000 with the white eyes for the first time.
Yeah. Dude, watching that, I lived in Japan back then, and so when Godzilla 2000 came out, that was like a huge fucking event. And then so I watched that like on base with like a bunch of airmen. Which, by the way, if you want to like have like a really good time at a movie theater, watch it with a bunch of like shithead like airmen who will like fucking bring the motherfucking ruckus. Like it was so insane. It was a lot of fun. But
and that's how I feel like any horror movie. Just bring someone who's like over exaggeratedly scared like during the movie. It's like you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. So like they.
So when we so after the small form of Godzilla, it goes back into the water, and then when it comes back, it's this gargantuan.
It's the Godzilla,
and then it actually starts playing the Godzilla, the original Godzilla theme song. I was like,
Akira,
definitely, it was like, this is Godzilla,
and it's not.
This is what you've been.
Not only is it the old tune, like using the same notes, it's like it sounds like it's the old rip of the. It sounds tinny. It sounds like kind of warbly, like you're listening to it like on an old record player. It's very mono mixed. It plays through the front speaker. Like when you're listening to it, you're like, oh, that's the old. Like they just got the old record and played it.
Yeah. And then I feel like when Godzilla starts doing his atomic breath stuff, and you have this orchestrated. I was like, that's like the real Shin Godzilla theme music.
It's I don't know what that song. I forget what it's called, but it's very like operatic, very tragic. Like if you listen to like a tragic opera, that's the.
You got your string instruments in there and everything,
and just like the people. Like it sounds fucking
terrible.
That's definitely the theme of this version of Godzilla.
Right. Yeah, I'll get
because that's the first time we hear him roar too.
Yes.
In that scene.
But and it's funny you bring up that this Godzilla is just CGI, because from the first teaser trailer, like it ends with him like his head shaking.
His head is shaking,
and it looks exactly like a puppet.
It does.
Like when I looked that up, I couldn't believe that it was 100. I mean I fucking like found like multiple sources. I had to make sure that
really
was
the
right.
only CGI part, the only parts that really look like CGI are like
it's
the non-Godzilla stuff. Yeah, the tadpole stage, and then like the
even like when they like knock him over and they're like trying to open his mouth. Like that doesn't look like a puppet.
Those parts. Yeah,
and when he's like bending down to like shoot his breaths.
You got to give it up to the CGI artists. Like they got the physics fucking right. Yeah, like it truly looks like a puppet to me.
For Godzilla stuff. Yeah. But, I'm still trying to find my place in my heart for some Japanese CGI.
I mean, they just don't have the money behind them.
True.
But yeah, when we see this fourth form of Godzilla again, I remember the whole time, like when it was in the water, it's cooling down, and then the special group force were trying to figure out, like trying to get as many facts, and then you see the Americans coming in and helping with the Japanese American ambassador.
Oh
a specialist or something.
Yeah,
and then just the team just like they can prepare so much, but then once they see that final form, they're like, this is much bigger. Like
then we fucking
they're like, because they said it's doubled in size. Like
doubled,
it's more than doubled in size when they
like he's like a thick motherfucker.
Yeah, like how can you react to that? Like
exactly.
you're making your plans for this Godzilla, and then here comes the new Godzilla.
Right? Yeah, like they saw the skinny wimp at first, and then he comes out of the water and he's just fucking roided to the fucking gills.
Roided out.
What's that? Like The Rock in Central Intelligence.
That's right.
So, there's just this fat guy dancing, and then when Kevin Hart meets him later, he's all buff and stuff.
He's The Rock.
He's The Rock. Yeah.
I do want to say I feel like they exaggerated Americans a little bit too much.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Her first meeting with them,
but somehow accurate.
Yeah, I know.
Somehow strangely
accurate.
Because I remember the first time they talk to the prime minister talks to the president on the phone, like he makes a comment like all these unilateral requests. I was like, that is like pretty accurate. Like Americans want something out of it. Like it doesn't matter if it's a disaster. We're gonna get something out of it.
But yeah, and I remember that in that part, like they start introducing all these like charts and stuff. So they found out the chart from the scientist guy, and I still, you know what? They explained it in the end of the movie. I still don't understand the chart.
I don't think anyone knows what the fuck they're explaining.
A lot of big words.
Whenever we get to the part where we're grading this movie, that's where all my points are gonna come off, because that's like you can't tell me some origami's gonna figure out some scientific chart.
Basically, what they say is
I want Neil deGrasse Tyson to watch this movie and science it out for me.
Yeah, some origami is going to find out that thing.
Throughout the movie, there's this MacGuffin of the doctors, the scientists' like papers. Yeah. It's a diagram, but nobody knows how to read it.
Yeah,
right.
And basically, what they come to is that you have to fold it in origami.
and then I hate that
they show them folding it in origami, and then.
But they're just folding it and unfolding it, folding it and unfolding it.
Forth. But like all of a sudden, they all know what it means. Yeah. They're saying a bunch of like big words, but like it doesn't make sense.
The unemotional scientist girl is like, it checks out. Like, does it?
There was no explanation.
How can you be so sure?
Oh my god!
Saw it, and now we have the answer.
Bringing up the girl scientist, it just reminded me of the scene where they're still trying to figure out like why he went into, or like what's powering him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and she was like, nuclear fission,
yeah,
and then the other guy was like,
no,
whatever you could.
And she just like stares daggers at him. He's like, no, that's impossible.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the next scene is where he's just like in a room. You have this like from the back, you just see the whole right angle shot of the room.
Oh yeah,
they're all sitting, and then all of a sudden the guy just starts screaming at his computer, starts running around the room. And then she comes up with the computer. Oh, so it is just like
nuclear. They start seeing the radiation.
I feel like that
is a very Japanese reaction
for sure.
Yeah,
that's very
like an American like would be like their jaw would drop.
They would be like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that one was just like,
yeah, just him screaming,
just running around, throwing everybody. And then the scientist lady, just emotionless, just like straight face. Oh, so here's the radiation path of this.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
talking about.
Oh, you're right. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, going back to camera shots earlier, like they did it. Like I really like the shot where they're like looking at the data on the computer.
Yes, that was one of the things I wanted to say. They do that a couple times in the movie
where
the data is on the screen. It's as if we're the computers.
I just like the scene of the whole like cast just looking at the camera. I just like
where they're all
like
where each head is like right there,
where it frames them all in.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Like that's another way that they get information across really like uniquely, is that they have the information like on the screen, and it's as if it flipped, as if we're the POV of the computer screen,
right?
Which is really weird.
But which is now it's like, oh, I want to watch this movie in theaters, because it's like just imagining old a screen and all these people just staring in at the theater on you, because they do we're the data. We're the data now.
Well, no, speaking of the camera shots, I didn't catch this until after the second or third watch or whatever. This is where it was like a part where the main guy was like, they're all sitting at the table in the prime minister's office, and they're like going over information, just like talking, and they're talking straight to the camera.
Yeah.
But then the main guy's talking straight to the camera, and then it cuts to the person sitting next to him, and they're like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" I caught it, and I was like, "Wait, this is like just breaking the fourth wall right here." They're like talking to us, explaining us all this information stuff.
Yep. Yeah,
right.
they had some like, oh, that's some Japanese humor that works
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
Very seems like they've been working on it, waiting for Godzilla to return, and to throw out there like how hard they've been working on it. They're like, oh yeah, your shirt smells.
Yeah,
Like, exactly.
Yeah, where they're
you
like,
need a
"Dude,
shower.
You fucking stink.
You know, it's like,
Dang.
wait, do I smell?
Yeah, and he tries to figure it out, and then they have a shirt for him on his desk. And I was like, oh,
he doesn't
so
change into it though.
He doesn't.
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't. He doesn't
that made
change
me
it.
really sad. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, he's just a stinky boy. For the
yeah,
rest of it.
yeah, he's just gonna stink.
Uh-huh.
That's what he does. That's what his bureaucratic department is. Department is stinking.
All right, so I guess we should just move a bit farther into this movie.
Yeah, let's get to.
Let's talk about his breaths.
Yeah,
Oh,
Let's talk about his lasers.
Because it starts off almost as the breath that we know. Like we
fire.
first see
I
his
like-
fire breath, which is chunky.
which is phenomenal
Mhm.
because it just absorbs. It floods.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
I was talking to you last time we were watching it. There's a shot where he's barfing like right into the middle of the street with his fire breath, and you just see a wide shot of it just going through every street.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
smoke.
yeah.
And I was like, that fucked me up so
it
bad. I was
and it
so
starts
sad.
as like it starts as smoke.
And you see it rev up to what the
to
power
fire,
is.
and then the laser, the
Mhm.
atomic breath, and it's just amazing how much that fire consumes.
Right. Yeah. Like
Because
there's-
again, like we were saying on the last one, this one had a lot of odes to the tsunamis.
yeah,
It's like just seeing the fire take over the streets. I was
The
like,
streets, yeah,
that's very tsunami-esque.
Right.
Very,
It's-
puts into perspective the force of nature.
and
that
then
it
you
is.
see like all the also like 9/11 too, with like just
Yeah.
like the smoke in the air, stuff
Yep.
like that. They really evoke a ton of images that are fucked.
Yeah.
Yep. So going into his breath, purple. I mean, I love
That,
Purple-
that's
purple
like
color
a
choice,
new-
yeah.
I
a
love
new,
purple.
yeah, it's a good way to distinguish it from
previous
normal
ones.
Godzilla. Is that all right? This one's a little weird. We'll give it purple, and it's like its back fins start turning purple and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Now, is back lasers always been a thing,
No.
or is this brand new?
No.
Okay.
So
That's what I really
that
want.
was that was the thing about this movie. I was like, oh yeah. So when he first uses a breath and then it goes laser,
becomes
like
Yeah.
laser.
his bottom jaw detaches.
Into
So
Oh
like
my
a-
gosh, that mouth!
yeah, it's
so
like-
that
he
mouth
has he's like
movement is so
predator
good.
mouth.
Yeah.
He has like
Yeah.
the predator mouth.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was
I
like
was
Predator,
like-
like Guillermo del Toro's Blade when he does
yeah.
the vampires, their jaws.
Yeah,
move like that.
so it does that, and then purple, and then we see. Okay, so quickly, this Godzilla, his thing is he adapts. He adapts to
Mhm.
all of his surroundings. We see that first thing when he gets on land, he can't breathe, so he develops lungs. He can't
Right.
walk, so he develops his legs
Mhm.
to
to
walk.
walk.
And then we see they start dropping bombs on him. Eventually, he becomes indestructible. Like he
Right.
can't drop
Yeah.
bombs. So when they're dropping some bombs on him later, they find out his back is weak, his spine.
Oh right,
And that's what develops his response to
To
shooting
the
lasers
lasers
out
in
of
his
his
back.
spines.
Yeah.
that
which
was
is
so insane.
so
that was truly
cool.
like that was the moment. I mean, there's another moment later, but
Yeah.
that was the
Right.
moment where everyone was like, "What?" Like in
Yeah.
the theater, we were like, "Oh!" Like it was so insane. That
Oh, I
we
can
could
only
do-
imagine.
Oh man, like, cause like just seeing the lasers by itself coming out of his mouth was already like a what the fuck moment.
Yeah.
Like we had never.
And
seen
it was
this before.
it was very more laser.
It was
this
yeah.
time.
It was
Very
like
laser.
It was a very thin
mhm,
like
it was
stream.
yeah truly a laser, like not like
Yeah.
just like a fire
beam?
breath or
Yeah,
like
fire
a beam that
yeah.
would like
Yeah, it was like a progression. It was like the fire breath, and like if fire gets
Mhm.
like hotter, as it gets
Uh-huh.
hotter, it gets a little bit more streamlined and
Mhm.
Yep.
everything. And
and then once it just gets
Purple
that
laser.
fucking purple
Yeah.
laser and he's just cutting buildings in half.
Yeah. It's
And
like-
then-
like hot blade butter.
And then it comes out of his tail too, which
Oh,
is like
which
gosh,
another
we see
yes.
later, which is another like adaptability.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's
thing.
like, and that's like another thing because like throughout the movie you kind of see like the tail floats.
Yeah.
It's not being dragged.
Again,
it's
the-
like
the-
another
yeah,
head.
The tail is very sensitive, and
Mhm.
people could say, and if you look at it, it looks like it's a face.
Another-
It's
uh-huh.
another face.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like it
Oh,
has
man.
half of a face.
Oh,
on
Or it's
it.
a very, like, a-
Jesus.
chimpanzee, like ape-like
Yeah, it
tail.
just-
man.
Because it It even
it's the way that it's like
it's always up. Yeah,
the part you are talking about where it kind of like hibernates for a second, like that when it's waking up, that's when you see like it has a crack in the tail when they're like going up to look at it, and it's like, oh, the tail is very, almost like another creature,
right? And then just the way that, like, I mean, just all the fucking lasers that are this guy.
They gave him all the lasers.
He's truly like the most OP.
It's like what sets this Godzilla apart?
Back lasers,
tail laser. Something I wanted to bring up about this movie. I can't remember at what part they do it, but you see like a bunch of like Save Godzilla protesters out there to the government. I was like, what the fuck?
I think that was just
they're doing like this shot. It's like on the news, like a bunch of people.
Probably one of his what are the shit?
It was nighttime, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They're like, Save Godzilla
before he
before he
goes more.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow.
We're like, oh yeah, he's an animal. You gotta
animal rights.
One of the I heard that's what, not to get sidetracked, but I heard that's what the next Godzilla might be about also. Like how like Jurassic World had that sort of like a tinge to like animal rights. I think like yeah. You don't like Jurassic World 2? I like Jurassic World 2.
It was I love the first Jurassic Park's one of my favorite movies. And I love that franchise. But that second Jurassic World was just
I like how it's a Frankenstein movie. That it's like a secret Frankenstein movie.
Yeah, but that's what the first movie. That's the first Jurassic World was.
The first, not so much a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Frankenstein movie, yeah. But the second one is the Jurassic World 2.
Yeah.
Is a Frankenstein movie in the vein of the old Frankenstein, where it's like a gothic house and like weird mad scientists and shit like that. It's way left field.
I mean, my idea of them bringing dinosaurs to California was more end of Lost World. Not House, not Resident Evil. Actually, because that's what it felt like. It's like very Resident Evil.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of gothic feel to it. Yeah.
Was not a dinosaur movie.
I mean, they're also not dinosaurs too. They're like frogs technically.
They spent 15 minutes on Jurassic World.
Sad day.
Oh well.
All right, back to Godzilla.
Back to Godzilla.
Back to Godzilla.
T-Rex is like a big one. It's like a small Godzilla.
We're not back to Godzilla yet.
Anyways, let's get back to Godzilla.
Matt rants about Jurassic World for the rest of this podcast.
But what the fuck were we talking about?
Poor Prime Minister who
he got fucking iced.
Yes,
in that laser.
Got
scene.
Convinced to evacuate
the whole like Prime Minister's cabinet.
Yeah.
Decimated with them.
Should have took the cars.
But that brought up another like one of my favorite things about this movie and politics in Japan and then world politics. The next prime minister, because you have to have a prime minister in this situation, is the person with the most seniority after everybody that's died. It's the like Department of Agriculture minister. And one of my favorite things they talk about in this movie, especially talking about the U.S. ambassador girl, is America picking people not over age but over like work ethic,
their experience,
by their experience. Like she's a go-getter,
but then she was also the daughter of some senator too.
Yeah,
so you don't know how much that plays into it as well.
Too. But it's just cool. It was interesting of them explicitly stating like
that's the American culture.
American culture is them
experience over age.
But
then
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the job position.
It's how good you are.
It's how good you are.
Right.
And I feel like that. I mean, I feel like this wasn't like a jab at Americans being inferior to the Japanese in that respect, but it feels like it was a statement being made about how the Japanese politics work.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some. Yeah, maybe the director or the writer was making a jab at Japanese politics. Like you're throwing in these senior leadership.
I feel
just
like not even maybe.
Seniority.
I think it's pretty explicit.
Yeah,
like,
very
explicit.
explicit.
Hey, fuckhead.
And then you have this, this young person getting all these things done, even with the main character. And
Oh yeah, because it was a younger.
Again,
group.
he's the underdog of this movie.
Yeah, and then in the end, because I know with the agricultural guy stepping as a temporary prime minister, like he became essentially a puppet to the UN.
Really see how
pushover he was, because they wanted to just go ahead and drop a thermonuclear bomb on Godzilla to wipe it out.
Yep.
But then you had to have these young guys go behind and kind of like get.
Hey, if we can do our plan and it
before they get to theirs.
That countdown. Like you have like this amount of hours, you got to get this shit done.
Yeah.
Evacuate Tokyo in like 2 weeks.
Their plan is really interesting too. It's still, they're gonna freeze him from the inside. They're gonna give him a brain freeze.
Yeah, and again getting back to like the Godzilla melting, like a nuclear reactor melting down. They cool the reactor.
Right.
Down. Yeah. That's the
to put in a stasis.
And I can't remember. It's like I paid attention. I tried to remember, but the name of his plan, I can't remember the gem. It was
named after?
It was after a legendary tea that fell
to Hydra.
Yeah, legendary sake or something like that. Yeah,
that's cool.
I forget the name of it.
So I was like, oh man, they used mythology. It's like I wish I could remember what the name of that brew was.
But back to like previous scene. Sorry, I'm gonna shout out to like another camera shot that I really enjoyed.
Okay,
was when the American Japanese girl was talking to the main guy, and like that's when she was explaining they're walking outside and they're explaining. She was telling them like, there's about to.
I know exactly what you're
talking about. It was like a drone.
It was like a drone zoom out, but they were like stuck in like the
far
bottom right
corner, and far they just stay there, and they just get smaller and smaller, and you realize
she's still talking and everything, and it's just I don't know, that shot really just stuck with me.
I like that, and I like the wide shots of them far away, and then the city in the background, like them like walking in front of a lake or something, and them just like meeting. And I was like, I really like that too.
Like both of the directors I think come from an anime background, and like a lot of the shots feel very like anime-esque.
Like setting up the setting, like taking a couple frames to set the setting, of where they're at instead of it just starting there.
Plan or
the plan where how they freeze.
So just plan is
CGI trains.
That's right. CGI trains to
bomb trains.
Some fire trucks.
Crane Division 1, Crane Division 2. I was like, oh my god, amazing.
That's the.
I've never seen cranes that look like that.
Only in Japan.
Special Japanese trains.
That's the thing that when I watched it the second time that I realized what was going on is that Godzilla is normally destroying the city. They use the city to destroy Godzilla.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh wow.
When they started dropping buildings on him, I was
they were like freezing and stuff, and they're like, all right, like blow the bombs, and they use the bombs to destroy their own buildings
to topple them over.
Again, I do have a gripe about that scene because like, how the hell did they get bombs in those buildings to where they can push a button? The next time they drop buildings, they use the ships to throw to shoot missiles at them, and I'm like, all right, that's more believable. But the other ones where they pushed a button,
rigged a couple. They got some demo guys to go over, go right next to Godzilla for a little bit.
And Godzilla did not know.
What's the fucking hazard pay on that? Exactly. Like, I'll take that job.
EOD.
I just really enjoyed that. Figuring out that's what was happening was that they're using the city to just beat Godzilla, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
I mean, them using the trains is a really ingenious because that's a very like special trait to Japan and their transportation system, and then using it against Godzilla, it's amazing.
It's like iconically theirs.
It's like, oh yeah, that's how.
That's like if Godzilla attacked Paris, and then they're like, all right, use the fucking Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, drop the Eiffel Tower on
Which, I mean, like, so...
Or they pull like a Ghostbusters 2 and make the Statue of Liberty come alive, and then here's the mech battle.
And I love the big difference between this, like, so this plan to destroy Godzilla was very, like, very well thought out, very planned out, very, like, all right, we have phase 1, we have phase 2. They science the shit out of this plan. But then you got 2014 Godzilla, where they literally just like, all right, Just give us a bigger bomb. And
oh yeah, you want to drop a nuke? No, we're talking about megatons.
Yeah. And they didn't even know it was going to work. Like, there was no science behind this one. But this one, like, all right, we're going to just, like, keep on bombing it, drop buildings on it until it wears itself out. So, like, you know, we can go ahead and just freeze it from the inside with these blood coagulants. Which is like, all right, well, shit, that's very science.
It's a cool way, because, I mean, there's...
Spoiler, it worked.
Yeah.
Like, all the other Godzillas previous to this, they don't really go about it that way at all.
Yeah.
How many, like 20 fucking Godzilla movies. It's all just like, all right, beat his ass up. Like,
exactly.
that's what it is. Or
yeah.
like,
well, yeah, beat him and force him to go back to where he came from.
Yeah.
Monster Island.
Yeah, that's right.
Taking hot spring baths with the rest of the monsters. That's what I want.
That's the next one.
I was like, I want Skull Island to be Monster Island.
It probably is. That's probably.
I hope that's the route they're taking.
I don't see how they don't.
I was like, how are King Kong and Godzilla gonna meet? It's only if it's Monster Island.
All right, so yeah, now Godzilla's frozen. He's basically a fucking statue, like in the middle of Tokyo.
Yep,
everything's good.
Everything's good because they said he'll be frozen for 5 years. I think was what they said,
and that's enough time for them to figure out what the fuck to do.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, if you've ever like seen anything where they freeze like a bad guy or a monster, it's like, oh, just push him over until he shatters into a bunch of pieces.
Break him.
Yeah, just break him. Yeah. Now drop the bomb on him. Because he's frozen. He can't do anything.
Wait, but was it that, or I just thought he was just gonna disappear after 5 years? Like he's like.
I think they have 5 years to figure out how to defeat him.
Yeah.
Okay. But also that because that was also the first time Scientist Lady smiled.
Oh, is that right? That's good. That's good. That's a good character moment.
I mean, the last scene of the movie, as big as it is, I want to talk about one other thing where they're talking about like the other like old scientist guy that was helping him figure out the plan and figuring out that he's evolving, saying that he's at the stage where he can like sprout wings and like colonize the world.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was like, you telling me like for 30 more minutes this Godzilla could have had some wings on him?
Crazy shit.
Have some crazy shit. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, he was about to become a world dominator.
Right.
That's like, oh yeah, they set something up.
They did, and
then
so we're expecting some crazy shit. And at the end, there's some crazy.
Yeah, like no one saw this coming.
Absolutely no one.
Baby Godzilla.
That's right. Yeah, like there was still there was an egg left that they didn't destroy in the New York subway. No, it wasn't that. All right, the story's wrapped up, and then all of a sudden we see Godzilla, but there's no sound now. They cut. Which is amazing. Which is so unnerving. Like, I remember watching that in theaters, and like, all right, the story's done. We see Godzilla, no sound. Everyone was fucking just like moving in their chairs. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we just like, and then you just like slowly climb up the tail, the weird fucking tail that we're just like, what the fuck is this tail? That we're like, that disturb you throughout the whole movie because it's very lifelike.
You finally get to that close up. And there's humanoid Godzillas that make up the tail that are like
that are coming off of it. They're sprouting out of the tail, much like a spider with its eggs on its back.
The
eggs are hatching.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember it was the second time I was watching it and I saw that and I was like, oh, hey, wait. Did this show up before this part? Because there was one scene where he was coming out of the water, like you see him like his final form, and I was like, you do see part of his tail, and I paused it right there to see if anything is there. No, there was nothing there. So it did not really come out until the very end.
So by the time those creatures were coming out, is by the time they went to freeze it for the second time, and by the time he got up again. And he was walking. That's probably when it was starting happening.
Right.
And it's like 5 minutes later. Like if they were unsuccessful at that point, then that's what
it would have been. Yeah, because he would probably know
that's
like,
what they would have had to deal with.
Because he was probably thinking like, oh crap, something like I'm about to like die or whatever, and then let me adapt and like let me sprout these little minions of mine.
Yeah, he had to start colonizing.
Yeah,
that was the next phase of his plan. And those humanoid creatures are gross.
disgusting.
They're very anime monster looking.
For sure.
Looking at some from that, and then seeing some. I think that like you can find actual like action figures or of those.
They probably
of those little tiny things.
Yeah, not action figures, but figurines of those.
Okay.
I was looking
creatures.
up like just like they have like a behind the scenes book of the art of Godzilla, and I was looking at like a couple pages online that people have posted, and I was already a fan. I forget what his name is, but it's a Japanese sculptor who like works on like a bunch of these movies, and he was the guy that created the look for the Godzilla and like the mini
Japanese HR Geiger over here.
And like just seeing like the clay maquettes of I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking gross.
Because they were very, skeletal. I like what I remember out their face. It's kind of like this round dome face with like one like hole for an eye.
It's like
teeth
a very
and then spines on his back.
Very slender arms, kind of like the xenomorph, and then with like a kind of like a fishy, lizardy face.
Yeah.
It was truly gross.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody fucking saw that shit.
Yeah, for a movie that kept surprising us, and then a very very good clip.
Like walking out of that theater, we were like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, like it's like, oh well, hopefully they set it up for a sequel.
Shin Godzilla 2?
I hope they make it. I mean, it said like what 5 years that in the movie.
Yeah,
they're like, 5 years. We have
5 years for them to figure out a plan. But Toho's already said they're not moving forward with a sequel.
Oh, really?
Big pussy.
Yeah, they want to do
regular Godzilla.
They want to do like King Ghidorah in said style, Mothra
in the Shin style.
Yeah, they wanted Shin Godzilla to start a whole new Godzilla universe. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, theoretically could be also a sequel too.
Yeah.
You could have like all the characters back.
Have the skeletal creatures roaming around, and all of a sudden the fairies pop up to them, and they have to do the Mothra song.
He's probably just saying this so he can surprise us with other movies, because
well, like that was also a thing that like kind of came out of nowhere. Also with Shin Godzilla, like I was looking up
Godzilla Resurgence.
Toho. Like a lot of people thought that Toho made Shin Godzilla as a response to the American Godzilla, but what actually happened was there's just like a rights issue where the Americans had to make their Godzilla movie first before Toho could make their own.
Okay.
And they were making it concurrently, and then once the Godzilla movie came out was when they're like, all right, now we can announce that shit. That we can make a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, because it wasn't like in the summer of 2014 or like 2015 when Shin Godzilla was announced.
Yeah, and so they were like, I mean, that it's not that far off from when it was like a February release or some shit like that, of 2016, something like that. Yeah, so they didn't have a ton of time to work on it, so
they're obviously like been working on it before that.
Yeah. But I mean, again, the whole like size comparison, like, the American Godzilla has the tallest Godzilla.
Right.
I was like, oh wait, here comes our Godzilla.
That was probably just they were just like, all right, let's one up it just one way.
Yeah, they scrubbed the numbers.
They just scratched out the numbers, added like 50 to it or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, all right, make them taller in post.
But yeah, I really like just how weird this movie is. Do we want to get to our reviews now? Like,
we can get to the grading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is it?
So
who wants to go first?
Not it.
I'll go last.
I'll go second again.
Okay, we'll go you first.
Great. All right. So I'll the writing. I enjoyed the writing.
So what's the criteria? It's writing.
So we have writing,
acting.
We're gonna grade it. Yeah, grade it on writing, acting, directing, and octagon control.
That's right.
Octagon control was the amount of Godzilla.
The amount of Godzilla that is within.
Okay. So I loved the writing of this, because this was a movie where I enjoyed the politics of it all, and it's something like I really wouldn't care for in any other movie, but because
they put it with the Godzilla lens,
they're
able to palette it.
Yeah, I mean, they gave it a very they gave it an interesting natural disaster to respond to, and being able to follow that was a lot of fun, because it was almost like very Game of Thronesy, and all these
with the power plays.
Yeah, with all these different moving parts, and I found it almost more interesting than Godzilla himself, and maybe that's why they made him so crazy. It's like, oh yeah, you have this. It's like, but look how crazy this guy is.
This movie probably, I don't know if it would have worked if it was just normal Godzilla throughout.
Yeah,
like I would have been like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like
human story is really good, but the Godzilla stuff is kind of like
right. And then like I was saying before, like if I take any points away from the writing, it's because they did not double check their science, because I have no idea how you're going to fold some schematics and say it works. I was like, no, I'm not convinced. So I give the writing an 8 out of 10. Next is acting. I enjoyed the acting. I felt like it was very. It was Japanese. I was like, I really don't know much more I could say. The characters felt believable. They put some good emotion behind it. I like this one guy of this one scene of a guy. He's like talking on a phone, like trying to get the blood coagulant stuff, and then he like bows. And it's like, then the expression, emotions on his face, and then our favorite scientist girl, just the unemotional,
straight face. Of
so I'll give the acting maybe a 9. I was like, it was really good.
Yeah.
Directing, I mean, the movie flowed really well.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I was joking with in the beginning. I was like, it's an amazing movie where it's moving. The movie moves really fast, but it's like they take forever to get to the solution of handling with Godzilla. But it works really well because you have this Godzilla that you've never seen before, so you have to come up with a crazy solution to deal with it. I'll give the directing probably an 8 out of 10. Octagon Control, Godzilla was in it a lot.
He was in it.
I mean, he earned the Godzilla movie title name.
Whereas like the 2014, you're like, all right,
where is he?
A lot of people are iffy as whether it's like a Godzilla movie. This one, it's so clear that it's fucking Godzilla.
Right. So I mean, Octagon Control's 10 out of 10. Yeah. The Godzilla was in it a bunch. Godzilla was cool. A new design we've never seen before of him. They did a lot of great things.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll give it, so 10 out of 10 Baragons.
Nice. Let's hear Chris's thoughts.
Cool. Let's see what we're doing. The first one is writing. Again, I enjoyed the whole politics side of this. It's a different view from any other Godzilla movie that we get. Again, the points I would have to agree with Matt. I do not understand that chart and that origami still. So I would have to give it an 8 out of 10 for the writing. But other than that part, I mean, solid dialogue most of the time. Acting, very Japanese, very exaggerations on Americans as well in this one. But all in all, good acting. I feel like everybody gave a solid performance. I'll give it another 8 out of 10. Directing. Again, good flow actually too.
The hardest part about directing was like this is the only thing I've seen from this director.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to
compare it to. But the movie had a good flow with it. It kept you like very captivated, kept you very involved. Again, it was like very fast moving, but it was just them discussing how to get to that endpoint.
Yep.
Right.
Really. So I'll give that 8 out of 10 too. Let's see, Octagon Control. How much of Godzilla do we see? A shit ton of Godzilla in this movie.
I don't know actually what the number amount is. I know people say like 8 minutes for 2014,
but this one,
I mean, it might be half and half.
Yeah, he dominated a lot of it.
Yeah, dominated a lot of it, and if he wasn't like on screen, he was still affecting some stuff. And he was like in like
he was present through most of the movie,
nearby. And like it was very, because like 2014 Godzilla, it was just like two separate sides, and like Godzilla just didn't fuck with anything. And then this one was very like integral, with the movie.
Yep.
9 out of 10 for Paragon. Cool. On to you, Jay.
I'm a huge fan of like West Wing and like Aaron Sorkin stuff and like Gilmore Girls, where the dialogue is just like rapid fucking fire. It's like a machine gun where they're just talking over each other, talking. You really have to like pay attention to watch, and that is exactly what this movie is, which is kind of hard if you're not a good reader and you don't understand
if
Japanese,
you're illiterate as fuck.
Yeah, if you're from Detroit.
Oh no,
calling out Detroit.
Yes. Sorry, Detroit fans.
We love you,
This
Detroit.
doesn't reflect all the views of Blurial.
I like your pizza. I like
Jay does not speak for all of us.
The Pistons.
Right.
The Lions suck. But no, yeah, like the way that it's written, it's very analytical. It's definitely like a thinking person's Godzilla movie, where it's not like you're not coming in it for the bashing and the smashing. Nope. I mean, it's fucking there, but most of this movie is talking, which is such a unique, which is such a unique like way to go about a Godzilla movie. Like no one fucking does that. That's like the complete opposite of what like all other Godzilla movies are.
Yeah.
And then so for writing, like I'm going like even like of course we have that Deus Ex Machina part of the fucking origami bullshit, which makes no sense. But like that goes by so quickly, where it's just like kind of like, who fucking cares? Like,
well, my thing is it pulled me out of the movie.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I was no longer immersed.
I haven't met anyone who hasn't been like, what the fuck was that? Like, so yeah, that's like truly the only strike against it that I have.
Right.
But, so like I'll give it the same as you guys. I think with a 9, 8, 9. I think I'll go 9 just because I fucking I'm a dialogue slut, baby.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. For acting, I really like how it's like a true like ensemble movie. Like it's you've got so many characters that you like kind of have to like keep track of, which is another like way like again like it's like a thinking man's Godzilla. Like you have to fucking pay attention to this shit.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're not paying attention, like you're gonna get lost.
You have to understand
really
who all the key players are.
Right.
Especially that first prime minister.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
And then, like, each of the characters are their own specific character. Yep. None of them really, like, aside from, like, the older bureaucratic guys who, like, are just dragging their heels, like, those are the only ones that, like, you don't really know who they are. But, like, every other, like, main character, you're like, oh, yeah, that's this guy's character, that he's going to react this way.
Yep.
So specifically.
Right.
And they do that so well for a movie that's like not very long and they don't really have a lot of screen time. You understand who they are really quickly, which is a testament to the writing and the acting. So like, and all the actors are like so good. Like they all have their little quirks. Like that guy that looks like he's from Seven Samurai has like a towel and shit. It's everyone's really cool.
I want to briefly bring up any anime fans like the English dub. Todd Haberkorn voiced the main guy. He's a long time like a Funimation voice actor. Yeah, like D Gray Man. He was in Full Metal Alchemist. Okay, cool. Fairy Tail. He's done a lot of Funimation voice acting. And for Chris, I'm pretty sure the agricultural department that became the prime minister. I'm pretty sure the English voice actor for him was the English voice actor for Gran Torino in My Hero Academia.
Is it really?
It sounds exactly the same. Because Funimation, I'm pretty.
They reuse the same guys.
Yeah,
it's like they do. Stable that they
right. I don't think I've listened to My Hero dubbed.
Really?
Yeah, it's that. I've only been watching that one subbed.
Really? Yeah. It's great dubbed. You should give it a rewatch in the English dub. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a
I recommend
rewatch.
it. Okay. But go on.
Yeah, so the actors are fucking swag as shit.
Yeah, it's like and let me watch all these let me watch these movies of these other actors.
I was
of these actors. Let me watch their other movies.
What else are they in? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So acting wise, like it's a fucking 10 out of 10. Like maybe the only one I'd give a gripe to is the American girl.
Yeah,
because she's like she's like
she was a bit overacting sometimes.
She feels like a J-pop type of, which is probably what she is. Right. And so like, I mean, that's I don't dislike her, but it definitely did feel like outside of the realm of what the other actors were going for.
Yeah.
So even with that, I'll still give it a 10. Like I liked her character. I liked everyone's character. Yep. So yeah, I'll give it a 10. Directing, I like what's his face, Anno,
Yep.
the guy who did Evangelion. He's like I've seen like episodes of that show, and it's fucking so weird.
Yep.
Like it really like melts your mind, and you feel
Dude,
that
that whole
permeate,
series is weird.
that you feel that permeate throughout the whole movie. You're just like, this is a little weird. Like there's some weird shit going on. And then just the way that they sell like the scale of like the monster of Godzilla, like with the city, you really understand the geography of where you're at, where he's gonna go, where he's standing. And so like they just from like a creature standpoint, they've got it done really well. And then the boardroom stuff feels so West Wing to me. It feels very like
like I was like, this is what you'd see in an actual conference room or boardroom,
and like the way
a public address.
I was saying earlier, like they like cut it with like the shaky cam of like the streets, and then once you get in there, it's so sterile. No one's moving. Everyone's trying to keep a bit of decorum.
The energy from people in disarray to people
just
trying
like
to figure things out,
sitting and
thinking.
And then there's also a point where they start figuring everything out, like all the main characters they start, and you see the camera get a little more loose.
Yeah, they start getting more
like swinging around. It'll like move a little more, and it's sort of like soaring with their like hopes almost.
Yeah,
and so it's like it's a really subtle thing that you like don't notice, but like if you're watching, you're like, oh shit, like that's kind of cool that they did that. It's pretty good techniques. And I forget what the other director's name is, but I haven't seen Higuchi. Yeah, I this is the only movie of his I've seen, but he's supposed to be like a monster guy, and he fucking does it well. So yeah, for like it being like two different stories. I mean, they're interconnected stories, but like it's two different types. Like you're doing like a monster thing, and then a really political, down to earth, political, like realistic thing, and it melts so well. Like there's no part where you're like, oh, these are like I'm watching like the Godzilla part, and I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, this part. And then when it goes to the humans, I'm like, whatever. Yeah, all of it, I'm fucking edging in my seat. Like it's so yeah. The directing, I'm going 10 out of 10. Like this is like masterclass.
Good
shit.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
Oh yeah, let me watch that YouTube masterclass of learning how to make movies with this guy.
And then Octagon Control, like Godzilla's in it a shit ton. And it's a Godzilla that we are not used to. So he's got like new tricks up his sleeve every fucking 20 minutes.
Yeah. And your back lasers, tail lasers.
It like keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like you do not know what's going on at all. So yeah, this Godzilla is one of my favorite Godzillas, like maybe of all time, like as a creature. So this is 10 out of 10 fucking Octagon Control.
Awesome.
Let's go to our like what's your final thought?
Final thought? If you like Godzilla, you're gonna like this movie.
Yeah, whoa.
And even if and if you like political movies, you're gonna like this movie.
Sweet.
If you like any character versus character
stuff, the interplay of power, all that shit.
Yeah, it's and the way the movie flows is one of a kind.
For sure.
And it's like you, especially for a Godzilla movie. It's amazing.
Out of 5 stars, what are you thinking?
I give it it's a 5 out of 5 Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 star Godzilla movie.
Nice,
definitely.
Nice.
I like that.
What about you, Chris?
I mean, great movie because it wasn't like the two different like subplots. It was very interconnected throughout the whole thing. Like PvP versus and like PvE. Like it was it was all intertwined in this movie, and it really just kept you engaged as well too.
Sure,
I'd have to go with like 5 out of 5 as well too. It's a solid Godzilla movie. I loved it.
I gotta say, like, I've said it before that Godzilla 2014 is my favorite Godzilla movie.
Yep.
But Shin Godzilla is the best Godzilla movie. I think it's the best one that's of the entire canon of Godzilla.
Yeah.
This one is like just the best made. Best story, maybe. Like it's really just kind of crazy that it's this good for being how weird it is. How like there's a lot of areas where it could have fucked up and failed, and it doesn't at all. So for that, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page. Yeah.
We're all on the same page. I was like, now I'm thinking like, man, we got it. We need to get some movies we could shit on. Like, sure. we're gonna do Jurassic World 2, so I can lay into it.
Prepare to listen to 2 hours of Matt just shitting
on
the
abomination that movie is.
Crying.
Exactly. Me going through the 5 stages of grief.
We gotta take away Matt's belt, his shoelaces.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you in a straitjacket.
Please.
We'll give you some glasses of wine too to amplify your feelings. So it's
right, exactly.
Yeah. So
where's my alcohol?
Those are our thoughts on Shin Godzilla. I guess we'll wrap this up. Matt, do you want to like plug anything, or you want to tell people where they can find you?
So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to follow me. Next episode I'll find my handles.
Don't know your handle?
They're not off the top of my head. But last time Bluriel did stuff, I have a Let's Play show, and
what's your Let's Play show?
It's going through some reworks.
Mm-hmm.
It was called This Dang Game,
yeah,
but I think I'm going to rebrand it in the future. So stay tuned for some of that stuff. You can find it on the Bluriel YouTube channel. Just look up Bluriel on YouTube. And you can find Bluriel also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and we have a website too.
Yeah.
Which I think is just bluriel.com.
I think that is what it is.
So go there. I want to get more active with this year. City Smash has been a great way to do that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So
how about you, Chris? Where can we find you?
My name's Chris Rivera, City Smashers #1 fan.
That's right.
I am currently a guest, but don't tell the guys. Maybe soon to be co-host.
Maybe.
Whoa. I'll tell you what, if I die, this is a promise. If I die, you can take it.
Yeah. He has some big shoes to
Next
fill.
thing I know, Chris like murdered me and faked it as like some sort of autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh no.
Okay, here's something just in case anyone's listening. If I die of autoerotic asphyxiation, it's fucking Chris.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, Chris,
this is a murder.
You haven't taken enough lumps yet to be co-host. I'm still, but you're going through Hercules' like 10 trials or whatever.
If you do kill me, you can have the job.
Yeah.
Be the host.
If.
So yeah, where can we find you, Chris? On Instagram or anything?
I'm around. I'll probably. I don't want to put that out there just yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big pussy you are. You can find more. You can find more of our stuff, especially City Smashers. Like
City Smashers.
Also has.
Does City Smashers have a?
City
YouTube?
Smashers does have.
I know it has.
It doesn't have a YouTube. It does have an Instagram.
It has an Instagram.
So just look
Twitter
up at
as well.
City Smashers on pretty much all platforms. We'll probably get a YouTube up, maybe.
Yeah.
You can,
especially if we want.
You
to
can
like
send in like questions or fucking anything at the citysmashers@gmail.com. You can find me at Jerson or David on everything.
Yeah.
And
I think on Twitter I'm Matthew S. Howell.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
just
if you want to like
so please follow me on Twitter, ask me questions. I'll talk to you.
If you're trying to
I'll throw words at you.
If you're trying to wife up Matt.
Yeah.
Slide into his DMs.
Just talk
Matt
about
is
Godzilla
single right now.
That's all you need. And as like I was saying about my gaming show and rebranding it, you might see these two fools on a City Smashers special episode of whatever my
soon
new
to
video
be
game
co-host
show
of that
is.
one as well too.
Oh no.
JK.
that Godzilla game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Destroy all monsters. So you might see these schmucks on it.
That's right.
I think our executive producer Bruce has something to say.
Oh well, I just wanted to add this for Jerson here because me and Ethan were both talking about autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh really?
We were driving around the other day and we got into a very deep conversation.
Nice. Nice.
We decided that if you do fall into a depression and decide to hang yourself,
that's the way to go.
You must put on pants, or the cops would assume. Everyone would assume that
it was something sexual.
Hey, if you're depressed, you're probably not wearing pants and you're just lounging around the house, because that's what I would do. But we were like, no, you definitely got to put on pants and you got to like tighten up the belt and everything, because otherwise they're like, oh,
maybe
this guy was just trying to get off and he fucked up.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
no.
Right.
I just wanted to add that for you. Also, 98 Godzilla for life, man.
Oh, no.
To quote Matthew Broderick, my work here is not done.
That's right. Stay tuned for when we get around to the 1998 American Godzilla film. We might have...
It's
going to happen.
That's right.
So long as Bruce...
Next week.
Yeah. you might hear that sultry voice come back as we analyze the first American Godzilla.
Oh.
But anyways,
ready for a baby.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully y'all are enjoying this. All the Godzilla heads in the world unites. Godzilla for Smash.
That's right.
Love you all.
Hey Matt.
Hey Jay.
I don't really know what to watch right now. I'm flipping through my TV and nothing's really coming to me. Well, you got any recommendations?
What are you watching TV for? You know everything's on YouTube now.
What is this? YouTube? Can you spell
YouTube.
Okay. What should I watch on this mystical website called YouTube?
Have you been living under a rock? Have you heard of Blurry Eel?
What's Blurry Eel? What's that?
It's your number one source for all online entertainments.
My number one source for all online entertainment.
Blurry Eel's got gaming videos. It's got shorts. It's got podcasts. Podcasts.
What kind of podcasts?
Have you heard of City Smashers?
That's starting to sound familiar. I'm into that.
Yeah.
So I just have to go to youtube.com/blurryeel. No, that's not what it is.
You have to go to the search bar.
Oh.
Blurry Eel can't afford /Blurry Eel yet.
Right.
Right.
So you just type in the search bar Blurry Eel. That's BLURRY space EEEL.
Correct.
Or EEL.
EEL.
2 E's.
2 E's.
1 L.
1 L.
Okay. I think I got it. I'll check it out.
Why don't you go home and plug it in right now?
Will do.